Why would they include that if women's testimony couldn't stand up in court, the court of law? Well, it's because it's embarrassing testimony that they stuck to and said, hey, this really happened. We got to record. So many of the details of where Jesus was buried, who buried him in what tomb, how many eyewitnesses there were, why are there so many different, there's over 4, right? There's 6 different eyewitnesses pieces of literature. So these eyewitnesses wrote them down that made these claims that the resurrection occurred. Well, 2 would have been pay dirt for any historian. 2 pieces of evidence. We have 6. But because there's supernatural pieces within it, they say, you got to throw it out. So there's hyper-skepticism of the supernatural. That largely came from this philosopher, David Hume, who sadly shook our nation pretty badly when it came to discrediting anything supernatural. So that's where I go intellectually. Then emotionally, I'm with you. Whether it's prayer, whether it's talking with people whose lives have been completely changed. I do a lot of counseling as a mental health therapist, a marriage and family, pastoring, talking with all kinds of students and professors on college campuses. Like, you listen to their stories and you encounter it and you feel and you accept how the Holy Spirit is moving. You just know something's going on.
Right.
You can't just explain it as, oh yeah, this is some great Tony Robbins, self-help stuff. You can't explain it until you really experience it after you've really gained the evidence. And you don't need evidence to be a Christian. You can be a Christian even if you were just raised in a Christian home and you just accept it, yes. But I would, and I know Cliff would strongly encourage people to look at the evidence. So changed lives, my life has been changed, and just seeing how the nation, but beyond the nation, how the world is being swept up in the gospel now is another piece of evidence for me that God's moving. God's moving.
Yeah. Wow, powerful. Cliff, do you have anything?
I'm a follower of Christ because my mom and dad loved me, and then they told me that at the heart of the universe there's a God who loves me. And because they were so consistent in loving me, it began to make sense that really what life is all about is relationships, and love is key to relationships. Then when I hit high school and college, I began to realize that indeed one of the most powerful pieces of evidence that God exists is love. Because if there is no God, you're limiting reality to matter and energy, which means what you and I call love is not a value where I freely choose to work for your good, for your well-being.